Welcome again to This Week in Gaming, episode 11 of This Week in Gaming. I am John at Force Inept.
I am Mike at Srej.
I'm Deion at Super Nerd Fresh.
And tonight we're going to be covering a lot of varied topics, but first, I want to go through kind of the old housekeeping as always. We've got Patreon set up. Only $1 tiers. We know there's not much for us yet, but if you want to check that out, feel free. Castbox, if you want to listen to This Week in Gaming on while you're driving home or anything like that, in a podcast. And then we've got the Discord set up as well. So feel free to join. People are in there meeting up for Overwatch or the Division or anything like that. So feel free to check it out. Links for all those things are down below. And of course, I have to do the reminder of, if you have Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Prime, which means a free sub. Again, we appreciate it if it goes to us, but feel free to give it to somebody in the community. You do have to do it every month, but at least it's going to somebody in the community and not Amazon's pockets. And then YouTube. Last but not least, so we post our squad modes up there. So we did one we'll talk about this past Friday and Sunday, actually. So Resident Evil 2 one-shot, and then the new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. And then we do Salted Thoughts, where we put up just kind of our, not news-specific, but just kind of thoughts on things, or Game of the Year discussion, things like that. And then, of course, This Week in Gaming, which you're hopefully watching live now, or potentially you're watching it later on YouTube. So, thank you for watching. And I think any other housekeeping from you guys?
Nope.
Nope, we're coming up on a 3-day weekend, so be sure to check out those squad mode videos too. That should be hitting up YouTube, the ones that we did the last couple days. So
yeah, we'll be posting those, and we'll probably be doing some, hopefully, live squad modes. We'll actually be doing one for Tom Clancy's Division 1 right after this as well tonight. So.
Boom.
But enough of that. Let's go right into the news. Okay, and what would this be? This would not be This Week in Gaming if we didn't first talk about Fallout. And yes, I made a graphic for it, because this, I don't think we've done it This Week in Gaming yet, this is episode 11, without talking about Fallout, which is just,
I think you're right,
incredibly depressing and impressive at the same time. Because it's always something
never
new.
Good news.
Never good news. Something new every single time. It's not like we rehash the same stuff. Yeah.
We're not those kind of newscasters.
Definitely not those kind. I mean, yeah. So this time, and there was videos all over the place, but players have stumbled across what they believe is essentially a dev room. So they've got man boy named Wooby, who you can kill. First NPC you can interact, human NPC you can interact with, so kind of odd there. Then they've got a bunch of crates around that you can just loot whatever you want, including some ultra powerful weapons and armors and stuff that clearly aren't meant to be either in the game yet or were, designed and not brought into the game. What's worse is Bethesda is also banning people that do this because they're cheating, even though it's in the game, and they clearly just, unfortunately, outsmarted the developers on this one. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this cheating? Is this... It's clearly not meant to be in the game, but that's not players' fault.
This is a clever usage of the game's mechanics, right? Like, you're just accessing what's already there. Whether or not it was intended to be accessed, the loot cave in Destiny 1.
Yep.
You don't ban people for accessing something that you as a developer left in there. And I will tell you, as a developer, this is exactly why your test data is PC because you never know who's going to access that kind of stuff. I think banning people for accessing something on their own mistake is shallow and it's short-sighted and it's wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, you pretty much sum that up, right? I mean, you just someone gets in the spot that they're not supposed to get to, you just shoo them away, put a patch, and call it a day. To try to punish people because you messed up, that doesn't really make sense at all. And I do think it's funny. I didn't think about that, John, until you said that they chose to put in like a human NPC player, even though like there's none of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like interesting, but
yeah, I mean, between the marketing, between their help desk, between their pre-order stuff, it's just, oh man, these guys just can't get anything right. Even the patches, we actually talked about a little bit of their good news last week or the week before about, you know, the patches they've done, and they've improved their building system and things like that. And it's like, anytime they try to do something right, something else just sets them, I mean, I would say 2 steps back, but a hell of a lot more than 2 steps back, because now this is just everywhere. And so now they have the difficult part of it's, I kind of see where Bethesda's coming from with the bans, because clearly if a player gets hold of this stuff, until they can go through and like manually rip out everything they're not supposed to have, they're super OP and they can go around, they can ruin the game for other people that aren't exploiting this. But at the same time, it's Bethesda's fucking fault for allowing that to happen in the first place. So
it absolutely is. And there's a lot of development companies, software and hardware. Look at what Apple does, where they buy people's data that have jailbroken their phones, and they actually reward them. There was a couple years ago, the first kid to jailbreak a phone got, they buy him like a 350Z and gave him like $50,000.
Oh, no
like they reward players for finding these sort of things. The software development company that we work for, we did a particular pen test using a third-party company that literally pays hackers to come and try to find holes in our software so we know where to patch it. For you to reprimand players for finding your own mistakes, reward them for what they found, thank them for their time, take your stuff back, but give them a badge or a title or whatever, and then move on.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And yeah, clearly shows, I mean, they were not ready for this, and they just didn't know how to react, and reacted poorly, as they unfortunately have every single time.
Right, and that's the key part, though, because it's not like this is just the first occurrence and then there's nothing else, right? Like, this is all this historical stuff, all the things that have been occurring with the game, and like everything. So if this is another layer, you automatically should be addressing it in a different way, as if, you know, you really need to be kissing your gamers' asses. I mean, to be honest with you, right? Like, you want to do whatever it takes to win everybody's trust back, and so knowing all the preconceived stuff, you know, whatever you need to do this in a more positive way, and they kind of didn't. They're just like, oh, I'm just gonna ban whoever.
Not only that, there's only 12 players left, so if you ban half of them for finding your loot cave,
pretty much all gone at this point.
Wah, wah.
I don't know what that's gonna be, so we're gonna stop that video. So speaking of things not necessarily meant to be found, transitioning over to some Nintendo news. The NES Online got data mined. This is over from Reset Era. It's gotten data mined to find a bunch of SNES games, a whole list there. Obviously, tons of the classics, you know, the standouts for SNES. And what's more interesting, I think, too, is that they found 4 emulators in it. They found, and I don't know the names off the top of my head, but the emulator that was the same emulator in the NES Classic that they released, as is with the NES Online. The same emulator as the Super Nintendo Classic that's on Super Nintendo Online. And then 2 additional emulators that no one knows what they're for yet.
Hayoko and Count.
That's what it is.
Are the names.
Thank you. And then the other 2 are unsure yet. So that is now putting... Everybody's, I think, excited about the Super Nintendo ROMs as far as who knows when they get released, whatever. There's maybe a Nintendo Direct coming up. Who knows? But the other two emulators kind of leaves that open, presumably for GameCube and Nintendo 64. And does that mean they're going to be the classics and Nintendo Online, or maybe just Nintendo Online?
I think Nintendo's been very clear about we are not doing any more classics. They've come out and they've not even like danced around the topic.
Yeah.
They said, we're done. We're not doing classics. Stop asking us. There's no plans. So I think for them to, for the community to jump to that conclusion might be a little premature. The Nintendo 64 is my favorite console of all time. And if there is a classic, I'll buy it up immediately. But I don't want to get my hopes up because of how stern they've sort of been on the topic.
Yeah, I agree with you that they have been very direct. They've flat out said, we're not doing a Nintendo 64 classic. But at the same time, I look at it and be like, well, if this is an emulator, which it seems like it's a pretty good shot. If you've got 4 emulators, we only know what 2 are, and you have 2 other consoles out there, seems like a decent bet. And if they have that emulator already, I can't imagine the hardware is that bad considering how they pump them out. And for how much money they make, I don't know.
To play devil's advocate, they did file, it was back in May of last year, Nintendo filed a patent for a Nintendo 64 Mini in Japan. So I don't know what all that means. Maybe they did a cost analysis and they decided it just wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're just trying to catfish us. I don't really know.
It's all an elaborate plot. Those emulators don't do anything, actually. So, any games on here you'd be excited to play? I mean, if it's part of the Nintendo Online, then I mean, they should all be included with the subscription that everybody has for it, I would imagine, but...
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just, all the general classic games I'd be pretty cool with, Super Metroid would be cool, Mario World, Star Fox, all that stuff is, it's like, I think I'm at a point personally, like, we've had a lot of times with emulators now when it comes to Nintendo games and classic Nintendo games, so I'm not as enthralled. Like, I get an NES Classic or an SNES Classic because it's more than just like an emulator on the PC or something. But it's cool that it'll be on the Switch specifically because a lot of us are using that so much. But I'm not like, I mean, I've played these games several times, so I'm not like, oh my god, going crazy about it. But it'd be cool. And
most of these
obviously
games...
the N64, that'd be a different story.
Oh yeah,
because we've seen less of that. So.
Yeah, and kind of to Deion's point, most of the games that are on this list are already on the SNES Classic. So, like, I have an SNES Classic. They have Super Mario Kart. They have Star Fox 2, Super Punch-Out. So it's like, who cares? I already have it. I already have a dedicated console that plays all those for me.
I think Yoshi's Island is the only one that I would be, like, pretty excited for. I did not get the NES or SNES Classic. I have the consoles in my other room, like the originals, and I've just never, I don't know, I'm not, for a while I had them all set up and accessible or whatever, but then it just became too much of Cord Nightmare and all this stuff, and I was just like, consolidate it down, pull them out whenever I want to, but having it on the Switch and just accessible whenever I get that whim is, I think, kind of how I'll be playing these. Never like, I'm going to sit down and play everything type thing.
I actually want Game Boy and like Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games. That's what I want.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe that could be those emulators.
Could be.
Okay, on to some PlayStation news. Mike, I saw you put this one up there. Pretty awesome. There is going to be a avatar for receiving a Platinum Trophy in God of War.
Yep, so they've already sent out the first round. So for everybody who already had it, an email would have gone out, asterisk. So I kind of learned this the hard way, and I reached out on Twitter, and they were able to respond back to me. So God of War Platinum gets you a avatar. Spider-Man actually was supposed to reward you with an avatar, and Horizon Zero Dawn was supposed to reward you with a theme. If you have marketing emails turned off on your PlayStation account, you will not receive those emails.
No
so, for those of you guys watching, turn on marketing emails. I have all three, and I did not get any of the rewards. So turn on your marketing emails, and then when you beat the game, it should trigger this reward. You'll get an email with a code, and you fill out the code to get an exclusive avatar or theme.
Oh shit. Okay, I'm gonna make a note on that one.
Yeah.
That's kind of annoying.
Yeah, dude.
It is
kind of shitty. Like, couldn't they just PlayStation message you or some shit?
Yeah.
You would think, right?
Yeah.
Or just like add it to your store account. I have a whole account of everything that's mine. Add it to it. Yeah. Oh well.
Oh,
it's clever. I have marketing emails turned on now, finally, for the first time in probably 8 years.
Yeah, they're like, ha 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 ha.
This will get everybody. That's awesome. I did not play them God of War, and I feel bad about that. It's just one of those games because that one you have to beat in a difficult mode or no?
No.
Now that one you don't? Okay. Might have to revisit that one. Okay, on to the I think news of the night / week that I hate. Jason Schreier broke over at Kotaku that EA has canceled its open world Star Wars game. Multiple sources told him. So this was the one that EA Vancouver took over when Visceral shut down in 2017. Yeah. So he does a pretty good job at writing this article. I mean, he tends to do that. Talks about kind of the roadmap as far as this was set to like late 2020 or even later. And it sounded like EA wants to focus on bringing more income in sooner than that. So it's not that they necessarily like flat out canceled it forever or anything like that. Similar to, what was it? Project 1313? Fuck. I'm blanking on the name of that old game.
Yeah, it's Star Wars 1313,
Star Wars
which
1313.
I'm still like hurt about it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I was still just like, because they did the E3 like I don't know, what is it, 5-minute little, it was an E3 cinematic, so take it for what you will. But I was just like, oh my god! And then when that got canceled, I like lost my shit.
Yeah,
because that was supposed to be Boba Fett, right?
Yep, that was, and it was later released. It was going to be Boba Fett, which is upsetting. So this one was supposed to be more of a open world / open galaxy bounty hunter-esque type single player game that you can go and earn faction and stuff like that. So it sounds very kind of maybe similar to that, maybe not directly Boba Fett, but a bounty hunter or scoundrel that you want to play. But they do report that they did not lay anybody off, so that's good at least, and that there's people at the studio that hope Orca, which is the code name for this project, hopefully will be restarted after this new project's finished. He also went down.
I will.
Oh, go for it.
Go ahead. No. You weren't done. My mistake.
I was just gonna say he also goes on to post the games that EA has done since acquiring the Star Wars license in 2013. So Battlefront 1 and 2, cool. Visceral's Ragtag was canceled. Now the EA Motive Vancouver's new game was canceled. Respawn Jedi's Fallen Orders this year, fall 2019.
I swear to God, if that gets canceled,
if anything happens to that
going
game,
on strike.
There's still not hardly anything around that game that I've seen. So that's my worry there, because even Anthem, they showed shit for that a year ago and it looked super unfinished. We're less than a year out and still don't know a lot.
I haven't seen that thing.
And
not even like a screenshot.
Yeah. All we got at E3 was a title, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's it.
And then they have Montreal Smaller Thing and mobile stuff. But yeah, nothing of consequence besides Battlefront 1 and 2 so far, and those went so well.
Mm-hmm. But in the wake of everything happening right now with Bethesda, I think it's smart to pull the plug and take your licks on a game. It's smarter to do that than to release a shit game, especially in a franchise that everybody loves so dearly. And I'd be interested to be a fly on the wall and hear whether or not kind of the shit going on at Bethesda had any impact on those conversations of should we continue this or should we stop.
Yeah, it just seems fairly far away though. I mean, if they're saying late 2020 or later, like, I don't know.
even Blizzard did it with Project Titan a couple years ago. I mean, like,
Yeah,
if the game's
true.
not fun, the game's not fun, and there's no point trying to polish a turd.
Yeah.
You have to have respect for that. And you also have to think about the other side of it. Like, while the fans are disappointed, there's a lot of money that's been invested in labor hours and assets and resources for them to say, this is not going to be profitable, this is not going to be fun, this is not going to be completed. There's got to be a lot behind it.
Could be.
So if it was any other studio besides maybe Activision, I think I would agree with you. It's EA though, so I don't know. They pump out games every single year that are pretty much the same thing or shittier, and don't seem to care about that. So I don't know.
It's fair.
We'll see. It'll be interesting. I mean, hopefully Orca gets resurrected. We'll see. Okay, on to better news, I hope. Not personally for me, but probably for you too. Bandai Namco reported that in 2019, the project of a new game focusing on the world of Dragon Ball Z begins. So it is Dragon Ball Z Action Project. Dragon Ball game Project Z Action RPG. I'm hoping that's not the full title.
That's it. Official.
That's the Japanese translation. They'll come up with something more clever in English.
Yes,
it'll have extra Z's in it or something.
Action RPG Z. RPGs.
Possibly. RPGs.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to this. I mean, it's possibly gonna have the warrior from Universe 11, which is Jiren. Is how you pronounce his name, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
Seen Super, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, that would be badass to have him in it. When's the last time? The only thing I could think of when I thought of, I mean, I know there's like Xenoverse and stuff like that. It'd be interesting to see if they do something like that. I was thinking more in my mind like Legacy of Goku. Because that was my shit back in the day.
That's the one for the advanced?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love that game.
I'm curious. You never know when it comes to like Dragon Ball Z exactly what type of art style they're gonna make the game into. Because when you talk RPG, it's different. And I don't know. What did you think about like Xenoverse, Mike? Did you play that?
I did play Xenoverse. I liked that art style. I prefer Fighter Z art style, that sort of cel-shaded flat. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the people that have broken the game and able to move the camera, and you see like the dysmorphia these guys do on their hands and their faces and stuff to make the perspective look right in the cameras. It's actually really cool to see. I think while it's complex, it's easier to do in a 2D fighting game than it would be to do in like a 3D sort of, or maybe it's not 3D, but in a sort of an RPG. And so I don't know if they'll go that route. It'd be really cool if they did.
Yeah, I personally, I don't know. I found that playing like Xenoverse and stuff like that, like it's a little wonky in that 3D space, especially like the way you're flying and targeting and fighting somebody, and then the camera gets weird because you're kind of locked into position where like Fighter Z was just great just because it's like that same 2D-ish feel, side by side fighting, remnant of like Budokai or something like that, but. Yeah, I'm curious of what they're gonna do. I have no clue how it's gonna end up being, but I mean, I'm always excited to see something new from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've played every Dragon Ball Z game that's been out in the last 15 years, so this is probably one that I'll pick up and play. I might not play it religiously, but I'll definitely buy it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what their timeline on it, because it says the project begins in 2019. So, see what that means. Be paying close attention to that for your guys' sake, not so much.
So, quick subtopic. What do you guys think about announcing a game before it's even been development started? Is that too early? Is there such a thing as too early?
Yeah, I would say that's too early. That's like, hey, we have this idea and we want to do it. I'm hoping they're further along than that, and it's more of just like a formal announcement of maybe actually hiring people to do the design or the actual development of the game. Hopefully they have, if it's an RPG, storyboards or whatever done and kind of something fleshed out before doing that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think we've learned from our line of business, like, that can only go wrong.
Yep.
Like from their perspective, right? Like now you have just set expectations, right? And
Yep.
so
Yep.
if anything falters, if any, like it's just you just put that out there. Now you did that in exchange for hype, right? So you now have some hype and people are interested, but there's a heavy cost there
Right.
if you f up.
Yep. Well,
Yes.
and you're going to end up with the No Man's Sky scenario where it's like, when is it out? When is it out? When is it out? When it is out?
Yep.
Or you're going to end up with the EA scenario where it's like, we got halfway through and decided we weren't going to do this.
Yep.
Instead of being able to kind of hold that and keep that to yourself and then just kind of silently move things around.
Exactly.
We'll see. Yeah. Nothing on this one really yet besides that. So hopefully they can kick into high gear and follow it through with no delays, just like every other game that has no delays, I'm sure.
So if they use an existing engine or something that they have, it may be a matter of plugging in assets and moving. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Be interesting.
If you're announcing something this early as John said, like the beginning of a project, would you expect, like I kind of would expect now that you're probably going to have some beta participation or something. I don't know. It's just so early. If the project is beginning, I wonder if it's like you kind of have to give me a little bit more now here and there. At least that's how I interpret that. Like I can't just read this tweet and be like, all right, see you in 3 years.
Right.
I expect something now periodically.
Yeah, I mean,
So
Star Wars: The Old Republic was probably one that I followed the most during development. It got announced, and I followed it for over 3 years before the first beta went out, and it was those weekly, monthly updates and just checking in on it. So I'm not sure if a game like this will go to that extreme, but I don't know. We shall see. More good news. Live as of 2 days ago, Rocket League now supports crossplay. So right now it's just being able to play against people, play with people against people from different consoles and services, and then later this year it'll be actually being able to party with people cross-platform. So, I mean, that's huge. They're now the only other one besides Fortnite that has this functionality. And honestly, I always kind of thought Rocket League would get there first, just for all their efforts and everything they've done. They had it on PC, they had it on PlayStation. You could play against each other, but then not Xbox or Switch, which Switch isn't put in this image for some reason, but yeah, so Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. So, hats off to them.
Yeah.
They've been doing
This is definitely a direction that gaming is going. I think that Epic had the benefit of the doubt because they were able to leverage their own platform to make the crossplay happen. Whereas I don't know that Rocket League really had their own sort of platform for all of that.
Yeah, so from what I had heard over, kind of the months of them talking about it, is Psyonix was ready, quote unquote, ready to flip a switch. I'm sure it was that easy, to start allowing that with PlayStation and everything, but they were held up by PlayStation. But now everything's all good and everybody can be happy and play against each other in Rocket League. But I think that's kind of a great point to what you said is, games are going this way, the industry is going that way. And really the next two topics are about streaming. And Amazon is getting into streaming games as well. They say they're going to be ready in 2020 to begin. So, I mean, as we've talked about previously, and actually kind of just finished the Project Stream for Google. So Google got to stream Assassin's Creed. It was amazing. Pretty much lossless. Like, I was astounded that it worked so well. Granted, I think we all have pretty decent internet compared to maybe some others, but worked phenomenally. Microsoft is doing it. Amazon's now doing it. And now Verizon just announced they're getting into it as well. So Verizon's going to be doing it on NVIDIA Shield, and they're claiming they're doing it for, it was like God of War and Red Dead Redemption and Call of Duty and like all these major titles, including like God of War stuck out as a PlayStation exclusive.
Right.
So I don't know how the hell they're going to be doing this, but apparently they're starting to invite people, I guess, on maybe their higher services or whatever, to these. I'm not sure if they're calling it an alpha or a beta, but starting to test these things. So, and those were placeholder game names. No one's actually doing those right now, but that's what they're claiming. So, I don't know.
There are rumors that there are two companies right now bidding to buy GameStop.
Oh, really?
I wonder.
Interesting.
Yeah. With, like you said, Microsoft and Google and Amazon and all huge behemoths of companies, they're all trying to get into a market that will inevitably stomp GameStop.
Yeah, seriously.
What is that? It doesn't bode well. Trade in all your stuff now, people. Trade in everything you have.
For $3.
Get 50 cents back, yeah.
Trade in all your consoles, all your games. Might be able to get a used new game for $5 off them.
This is really exciting stuff. It's weird because change is happening and coming up, and it's just like I feel like we are witnessing like Blockbuster die out. Like I feel like that we're like right about to see that happen. And I mean, in the next few years, I'm curious what's to see. Go, hey John, did you go on Amazon and stream that game yet, or did you pick that up from like that's the mindset that things may be changing to, and it's cool. It's interesting in what's going to happen in the future. I'm also curious to see how these compete against one another, because it was so impressive seeing Project Stream from Google. I'm really curious to see anything get that close in responsiveness.
Right.
I can compare.
So Verizon, my biggest concern with Verizon getting into it, and I know a lot of people do like Verizon, whatever. I've just personally, from years and years ago, not had good experiences with them, so I'm probably a little jaded in that. But I'm worried in thinking they're like a Charter Communications or Bright House or Spectrum or Comcast, as far as like, what if, and I hate saying it, but what if it becomes one of those things where it's like, okay, this is your service in your area, this is what you get. I don't think it'll go that way, considering Microsoft and Google are in play, but at the same time, I mean, Google Fiber is only certain places, and the whole streaming in general is not going to apply to the vast majority, maybe not vast majority, but a large group of gamers for a long time, because, I mean, people that live outside core cities tend not to get the best internet, and until maybe 5G is fully in place and whatever, I mean, this is going to be limited for people. But at the same time, I'm super excited because by gaming ADD, if I can pay for a service a month and pay like $100 a month and don't need to actually worry about feeling bad for not playing games that I bought, then I think I'm in a good spot. Yep. Also, hello, July 4, 1776.
What up, America?
Guess who? I know who that is, but welcome to the stream.
It's the Netflix model, right? So we've done it for movies. We've done it for books through Audible. It's now time to move it to the other media, which is games. And I'm hoping that they do a similar sort of structure as this kind of thing.
Right.
And what you touched on a little bit before with Verizon and Microsoft and Google, they're all competing, and that's going to keep costs down, and that's going to keep availability up for everybody else, which is going to be huge.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It'll be scary if Google dominates and all these other companies aren't able to take off, and then it's just them, because then they kind of control everything.
They kind of control my life already, though, so if Google wins out, I'm okay with that. Verizon or Microsoft, I'm a little worried.
Yeah. I have similar feelings about Verizon.
Yeah. Let's see. Next topic, just kind of a nice little news story. Mike, actually, you put this one on there if you want to talk about it.
Oh, the World of Warcraft. So, on the public test realms now, if you guys have access to it, World of Warcraft has added one last Stanley cameo. There is an NPC named Stanley in Stormwind. that you guys can go and see now. Super cool. I love the way that they kind of shifted the sort of mesomorphic human figure to look more like Stanley, and they really did pay homage to him. So you can see him walking around in Stormwind, and he also yells Excelsior when you go and talk to him. So very cool. I love Blizzard's way of paying tribute to people. I think this is just very tasteful, very cool.
Yeah, that's definitely a nice little touch. Playing Spider-Man the other week, playing the DLCs, the third DLC, when you beat it, has a little dedication to Stanley, which is pretty awesome. So definitely gonna miss the man. He definitely made a huge impact. Unbelievable. Okay, on to... Oh, actually, I don't think I have an image for this one. Shame on me. Which is terrible because I'm going to pull up the Epic's Game Store image and talk about Steam.
Yeah, nice.
Actually, here, let me... Deion, if you want to talk about this while I try to get a graphic.
Yeah, sure. So, Steam now has 30,000 games, which is insane. An interesting fact about that is 53% of those games were added to Steam within the last 2 years. 9,000 of them in 2018. So, that is insane, the amount of games that they added. So, which tells us a couple things, right? One thing is, I know console wars, PC Master Race, all that stuff. The fact that I can get a computer and play 30,000 games off of one launcher is pretty amazing. Like you have to give PC the credit for versatility and like the amount of games that they can have. Granted, not all of these games I'm sure are great golden games, but a lot of them are crap, I'm sure. But still, you got a million choices here. So with that being said too, and I know you switched to that, and then when we talk about the Epic part, I'm curious, like, are we like? I wonder, like, what this will mean for them in 2019. Will it matter to them? Will they continue to have a huge gaming list, or will they be impacted by Epic?
Yeah, and just the quick note in here from PC Gamer is, if you include DLC or software, so not just games, it's 21,000 more things. So just insane. Yeah, I know we've talked about Epic and obviously how they're putting up a good fight against Steam. I think if you would have asked me a year ago about Steam, if anybody could ever compete with it, I would just flat out said no. And I think Steam still has the better offering as far as the marketplace and how many users there are and everything like that. But I think the 50 or 30,000 games is also a detriment. I know they've talked about in 2019 they want to improve their algorithms and stuff like that for how to find games, because once you get into, like you said, over 9,000 games in 2018 alone, like, how do you get your game seen at that point?
Yeah, fair point.
And Epic, curates their games right now, and I think they'll probably have to continue doing that, because Steam is it's a fucking fire hose of games coming at you, and it's, unless you know about a game or you happen to see it pop up or somebody's talking about it, never going to find it unless I'm searching free VR games. That's about the only time I actually search Steam right now. But 30,000 games, yet Steam still doesn't have all of the Command and Conquer games.
Yeah, that's accurate. There's still times where I'm looking for one specific game, and it's usually one like in the past, and I'm just like, it'll have like one version, and like not the one version that you want. So damn it.
Again, that's like Netflix, where they'll have Home Alone 1, 2, and 4.
Yep.
You're just like, what?
I want to watch Home Alone 3. What the hell?
No. I want to talk about Netflix news, but that's not gaming news. Continuing on then to the Epic Games Store. So they just instituted, pretty quickly, a 14-day refund policy for games as long as you've played less than 2 hours. So pretty much just matches Steam's. Epic Games wants to eventually automate it. Right now it is writing into their I forget what they call it, customer support, whatever it is, to request a refund, but they are looking to automate it, which I'm kind of curious. Like, there are some games out there that are pretty short. Maybe not quite shorter than 2 hours, but actually, yeah, there are for sure smaller games out there that are less than 2 hours. Like, how do you automate something like that?
I feel like Steam has done some, at least Steam has found some way to accomplish that, I'm sure. When you have 30,000 games, I know that some of them do run under than that, and I've heard of like people trying to like, you know, see if they can cheat the system in some way and try to beat a game real quick, and then try to refund it. So I think I think Steam has gotten smarter, and I don't know what all the tricks of the trades are, but I'm sure Epic will figure out the same scenario. I think it's an awesome refund policy, honestly. Like 14 days to refund a game is nice, and if you've played 2 hours or under, you have a good understanding of what that game is. Because I've refunded a few games where I just like played it and it's like nah. And at least through Steam, I haven't had a problem. So cool that Epic's doing the same thing.
Sea of Thieves, right here. I had to pitch to Microsoft that it was not advertised.
Well, let's be honest though. If I can beat a game in 2 hours, I'm not paying for it.
Really?
I'm not. Like, yeah, hell no.
What about like Journey? Because I'm pretty sure Journey is, I think, under 2 hours, isn't it?
I think it's longer than 2.
Is it? Oh, okay. Wow, shit.
I get what you're saying. There might be what was it? Limbo. Limbo was one that I think I beat in like an hour and a half. But like, I don't know. I'm gonna pay for quality content. Let it take more than 2 hours.
Yeah, I'd be curious if they maybe do a different structure on like, if it's a $60 game, then you get 2 hours and 14 days. If it's $10 game, maybe you get, I don't know, half hour, 20.
Well, don't they do like achievements or anything for beating a game?
Yeah, so you would be able to see if like,
I don't,
Mike
does
completed
Epic do that?
Oh, Steam does.
Steam does.
Yeah.
I don't think Epic Games has anything like that, which is another thing that Steam has achievements that I don't care about, but they're still there, and I kind of like acknowledge them. It's not like PlayStation where I more so care about them. And obviously, Mike, to your trophy hunting. Do you do any Steam at all?
Very, very little. My brother got me Celeste for Christmas, and
Nice.
it's for my birthday, and it's probably the most I've spent on Steam this year.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's part of that thing where it's just there's so many things, and they're just the achievements are all over the place as far as what you get or how to earn them. The Stanley, fuck, I'm blanking. Stanley Parable. It's like you have to play the game for 3 years or something like that straight to get an achievement. So then people have to go in there and
you gotta come
change
back.
their clocks. Oh, it's come back 3 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so people like change their system clocks and all this shit.
But there was
to
something
do
like if you miss it, you don't get the achievement. It was something crazy like that.
Batman Arkham Asylum or Arkham City. Might have been Arkham City. I got the Arkham City Platinum. You had to go through and visit Calendar Man on every holiday. So you had to like log into your PlayStation and change the day for it. Yeah, it was like there was like 20 different holidays too. It wasn't just Christmas and New Year's. It was like it was pretty crazy.
That's pretty funny. That's fucking next level trolling right there.
Yeah.
Just a quick correction on what we said. It's not playing the game for 5 years.
Oh, it's not playing the game for 5 years.
The game came out on October 17th, 2013. And so you unlock an achievement from the last time you played 5 years.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I hand it to them. They are a creative bunch, and they're coming out. With
Everybody will get it eventually.
Yeah, it's the go outside achievement.
That's
and it's don't play the Stanley Parable for 5 years. That's great.
That's clever. Okay. I think that gets us through kind of the current news. Going into the hype for some upcoming games. I think probably the two, besides Kingdom Hearts 3, which is coming up. The two bigger ones are Tom Clancy's Division 2, which comes out March 15th. And today they just released a whole bunch of information. So there's a new trailer. The private beta is confirmed for February 7th through February 10th. You can get that if you pre-order the game or if you get Mountain Dew Game Fuel, which I'm hoping arrives at my house soon because I can't believe I fucking bought that. So the emails for that should be going out pretty soon. So that should be exciting. But yeah, it takes place in DC based on this trailer they released. Looks like your base of operations is going to be in the White House, which is kind of cool. And yeah, Deion, you and I were talking as we were leaving work, but I mean, it looks like Division. Doesn't look anything groundbreaking, but the environment looks cool. So
yeah, exactly. It wasn't, nothing looked super crazy. Didn't look like these, insane graphics. It looked pretty straightforward. Looked like the Division, but I think I'm hoping that what they've learned in releasing the first Division, which it didn't have a lot of in-game content at first, and over the last few years, it's gotten and grown to be way better at that. I'm hoping that Division 2 will start off with that great content and gain even more. Just add more things to it. So I don't need it to be super insane graphics. I just need it to function well, perform well, and have good content.
Yeah, battling in the aerospace Smithsonian looks pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty excited to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And then the next one is Anthem. Wow, I did not write down the release date of Anthem, and I'm somehow blanking on it.
It's like February 17th or something?
Yeah, mid-February, somewhere in there. So Anthem coming out, it I guess was confirmed there's no
22nd.
22nd. Thank you. It was confirmed this past week that Anthem does not have any PvP planned, which I kind of found odd. I just kind of more imagined it kind of like a Destiny type thing. But IGN just posted today, they have an IGN first 10 minutes of Hidden Depths gameplay. So some alpha gameplay, and they have that tag all over the place and stuff. But it gives a much broader look than if you got to play the alpha, which people talking right now may or may not have had the chance to do. So I don't know. I'm still cautious on this one. I was talking to Pharaoh, so Pharaoh, if you're out there, but my hype level for Division has steadily increased at the same rate my hype for Anthem has decreased. So I'm at the point now where I'm much more excited for Division 2 than I am Anthem. I still think I want to play Anthem, but yeah.
Interestingly, I had not seen this previously, but Anthem has no plans for loot boxes because they, quote, have no purpose.
Okay.
What?
Yep.
Huh. That's interesting. I wonder...
What's interesting to me is, like, I'm not a super big fan of loot boxes as it is. I get that collector mentality, and I kind of obsess over them a little bit.
Yeah.
But in a game where you have one character that has 3 or 4 suits
Right.
that are all about customizing, I would think stickers, sprays,
Yeah.
colors, shaders, things like that would all be things you'd want.
Right. Yeah, I think...
I can appreciate that they're not going to do this sort of like cosmetic microtransactions, but
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know.
gonna keep them off the hook on that just because I'm tired of the other games that they've ruined because of loot boxes.
Fair.
But I do agree with you, Mike, that there's clearly a lot in terms of like aesthetic appeal when it comes to you having a mech suit, right? This game, I hope. I'm feeling the same way you are, John. I hope that it has good end game. I'm concerned about the end game. Like, I think we're gonna play it, beat it, and I hope that there's like raids or something if there's no PvP. Like, give me something, or else I'm just gonna play it, have fun, and then drop it for something else.
Yeah, exactly. The loot box thing, man, I'm still kind of thrown for a loop for that. I mean, I'm glad EA clearly has taken to heart the Battlefront fiasco and is hopefully trying to save face by that. But at the same time, yeah, for even if it was non, weapons or anything like that, any, real matter on the game, but as far as like the Overwatch mentality or even the Destiny 2 mentality where it's you get a loot box, you can get, engrams to paint your shit purple or a new skin or a spray or emote or whatever. I feel like that's an opportunity. As long as you could still earn them in the game, I'd be totally fine with it. As if they want to do the loot box to try to unlock it quicker or something like that, then I hate that I'm at this point now, but I'm just like, I'd be okay with that.
I like Destiny's model.
I would have been like, fuck that, but now I'm like, okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, Destiny's model's cool because you get your level cap experience, then everything after that goes towards the emblems or the engrams or whatever it is that they have. So you're still rewarded for continuing to play, and then if you want to buy more, you can buy more.
Yeah, so that's interesting. It's just one of those. I'm cautious. I love the feel of the game, but I need a lot more. And this video, I think, adds some to it, so I definitely recommend watching it. It shows the different javelins a little bit closer, especially the heavy one. Makes me want to play the heavy one really badly, but we'll see. See, on to just kind of some events to highlight. So I'm not highlighting any Fortnite notes because Deion gets upset. But Resident Evil 2 one-shot demo is out. The game itself releases, next week, so January 25th. So if you didn't catch us, you can go click below and see the videos. We did the Resident Evil 2 one-shot 3 times. So we did a squad mode on that, and each played it one after another and got through the end. So we got to see the special trailer at the end. Twice, I think we did it. Deion.
One of us beat it in 5 minutes, so
yes.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck watching that one.
5 minutes. Impressive. So if you want to see the whole run through in 5 minutes and see a special trailer, go for it. At the end, spoilers, they highlight 2 characters, which I had no idea who the fuck they were. Hunk, apparently, is a character. This guy right here always wears a mask. Apparently is a common character in multiple of the games, but I guess kind of got more realized, if you will, in Resident Evil 2. And then I don't understand this at all, but Japan, I guess, is the reason for this. Tofu. Tofu. It's a block of tofu, and named Tofu.
I thought it was like a cement block every time we were watching.
Yeah.
I had no clue what was going on.
So
I thought it was hunk and slab.
So I had to put up that gif of apparently this is from the original Resident Evil 2, of Tofu as a playable character, like you can play as Tofu.
Was Tofu? I haven't looked into this. Is Tofu like a Easter egg in the original?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if it's the original Resident Evil, but Resident Evil 2 it was. So it is a throwback to that.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I mean that's cool. I guess those diehards of the franchise, which I am far from. I started playing it 4 or 5, Resident Evil 4 or 5. Had a lot of fun with 5, I remember, but that's kind of all. I still want to get 7 and be scared shitless and PlayStation VR. I need to put a reminder to do that, actually. But yeah, so there's that, I guess.
I wonder if Tofu was like originally just like a graphical error in the game. They're like,
probably.
It's missing now.
Yeah,
totally.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a feature. Yeah. So there's that. See, deals of the week. We've got on the Epic Game Store until January 24th. So we talked about this last week, but until January 24th, you can download for free, no strings attached, What Remains of Edith Finch. I have not played it. I hear it's a wonderful game. I think it came out in 2017 and was like a pretty big deal in 2017 as far as like indie titles go. And then I'm more excited for, starting January 24th until February 7th, the Jackbox Party Pack is available for free as well. So
if you guys have never played a Jackbox Party Pack game, they are amazing. There's 5 of them.
So much fun.
We need to do a Let's Play and let you guys join us and help play with us, because that would be so much fun.
Yes, 100%. And I am totally down for that. Actually, yeah, I've got one on the Switch we could do, or January 24th, we can do this party pack on PC as well.
I have 3 and 4 as well, so I can bring over a PlayStation. We can make it happen.
Nice. Let's see. Ooh, Mike, if we're doing Jackbox, we have to do Trivia Murder Party. That is a fun-ass, dark game.
I love that game.
It's a good
yes.
one.
Yes.
And they ask some weird-ass trivia questions, that's for sure.
It would be cool. You guys can give us the answers in the chat.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think they also get to choose who they kill if we tie. I think that's part of that one specifically.
Oh, yes, they do.
That's right.
Yeah. Let's see. Then we got Call of Duty Blackout Battle Royale explicitly. I just pulled this graphic. I don't know if that's accurate at all. But free trial this weekend, starting tomorrow, January 17th, through January 24th for PC, PS4, and Xbox. So, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but still, they don't know how they're going to access the trial yet.
Yeah, they didn't release how. Most likely it'll be, Xbox Store, PlayStation Store, etc. But yeah, it's interesting and curious. I guess it makes sense with Fortnite and everything else, why they chose to just do a free trial of the Battle Royale mode instead of like zombies or any other part of the game to try to grab people in. There's another, I'm trying to remember, but they did do a thing where you can buy, there's like 2 different versions of the game, or like where you can just buy zombies, and, you know what I'm talking about? Like you can buy it separately instead of like everything together. I know I'd like just butchered that, but you can like pretty much split the game up.
Yeah. Shoot. Yeah, I can't think what it's called. I'm kind of blanking on how to search for that easily. But yeah, I think there is an edition where you can like just buy the Battle Royale. I feel like it comes with something else, but yeah. So some options there. Definitely, I'm going to be checking it out. I've only played it briefly when I had people over for birthday in October, and we, I think, played it on PlayStation 4, just kind of taking turns in the Battle Royale. And I am not one to play a game like that on console, so I will probably be playing this on, I'm assuming, Battle.net, because
that's how they did. They've done like Overwatch free weekends and things like that, where you just download the game through Battle.net, and then they just give you access to it.
Gotcha.
We should definitely do some Let's Plays.
Yeah, I'm down with that. This is one game where I've continuously been tossing back and forth whether or not I want to pick it up, because I love Battle Royales. I won't get anybody to play Fortnite with me. And Battlefield 5 Battle Royale doesn't come out till March. And apparently it has tractors, which is a big deal, which also came out this week, but did not want to talk about that.
Game of the year.
What the fuck?
Real quick on what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Black Ops 4 with Blackout in the standard multiplayer, they did a thing where it was $30. It's now $40 to buy that. So it pretty much drops zombies off. And then at any point, you can take that version and add zombies if you want for $20 to get to the 60.
Damn, $20 for just zombies?
People are dedicated to zombies.
That's true, yeah. Yeah. See. Okay, and I think that's it for the news. So what are you guys playing? I'll kick it over to you, Mike.
So working pretty heavily on my Red Dead Redemption 2. Some of you guys may have seen some of my streams this week. I will continue to be doing those. This week alone, I got the Skin Deep Trophy, the Bountiful Trophy, and the Zoology Trophy, which are 3. Well, 2 of those 3 are the most difficult trophies in the game to get. two really heavily difficult trophies left. One being the 100%, which I'm at like 96.
That's awesome.
And the other being 70 gold medals, which is going to take me forever. Though I think I'm going to do the 70 gold medals on my second playthrough and just do them that way, rather than going back and playing every mission. I did go back to do some like replayed missions for some of the challenges. There's some areas that make it a little bit easier, and they give you like crap weapons, no items. It was.
Oh, so they actually take
give
the
you like a
weapons you
default
have,
set.
even if you retry. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
So like if you complete the mission and then you immediately hit retry there, then you keep everything you had at that time.
Gotcha.
So that'll be better. And then The Division. I started playing The Division this week. Not really into those kind of shooter games. I've actually really enjoyed it. And you guys can watch how terrible I am right after this.
Yeah. We'll be power leveling. So you're at 10? 8?
6,
somewhere around there. Deion, you're 20?
Around there.
Somewhere around
Around
there.
there.
So,
1920, something like that.
Have till that March 15th date, get these guys up to 30, and we want to try and get some of those special little things that you get for doing certain things in Division 1 that then carry over to Division 2. And more to get us, in the mood for Division 2 and get up with the story. So.
Yeah, I want to try some of the Dark Zone stuff too, because I literally haven't done that since forever, and want to experience that again.
It's incredibly fun and frustrating at the same time. So I've been playing the Division a little bit. Assassin's Creed Odyssey I actually just put in yesterday or the day before, and trying to get back into that. I did the Project Stream to get my hours, so I'll get that added to my Ubisoft account. But I also have it on PlayStation. And that's really the main reason I hadn't played it much on Project Stream is I started a story on PlayStation 4 and did it as Cassandra and got to like level 20, 25 maybe, somewhere around there. And kind of had a hard time starting it over again with Alexios and not enjoying it as much. So that kind of dissuaded me. But now I'm back into it. I got the Platinum Trophy for Spider-Man, and I bowed out of the Red Dead Redemption after seeing Mike's efforts, and I cannot be that dedicated, unfortunately. So hats off to you on that. That is a commitment for sure.
Yeah, I'm still probably 150 hours out.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
Jeez.
That's awesome.
We'll
I
see.
mean, it's gonna feel good to get that. That's for sure. That game deserves.
Yeah,
it.
the Zoology and Skin Deep trophies, they were still less than 0.1% of people have actually. So it's still less than 1 in 10,000.
What?
Yeah.
Dang.
That's crazy. And then the new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe.
You got it. It's a mouthful.
I've been playing that, so we did the squad modes on that, so definitely check that out if you haven't. It's a lot of fun. It's either we did one squad mode, the three of us, where we were fairly cooperative, and then we did one Sunday where it just we put Jordan and Seamus in a room, and it just degraded into all-out chaos. Which
That's
was
the
also
only
fun.
word for it.
But was chaos. Mike's completionist brain was having a meltdown, I think. But
I was going nuts.
Yeah, you guys are like speed run,
Yeah,
and just
speed
like,
run.
and then whoever's like at the end is just like, stop running, god dang it! Like it's just terrible.
Yeah, I think we all cycled through that, like as far as who was raging and who was in a bubble at this left side of the screen. So.
Oh my god, the bubble chaos.
And everybody bubbling at once. So you can have fun with that game in multiple ways. So definitely recommend checking it out. Where are you playing, Dia?
Yeah, same deal with you guys with Division, so happy to get through that. Like I said, I want to do some Dark Zone, some higher level stuff before the next one comes out. Overwatch here or there. Usually when we're playing together is when I hop on that. Sometimes I got an urge and I'll play a couple rounds. But we need to do the competitive thing. We gotta get our ranking for the season.
Yeah, I finally hit 25 and we stopped playing.
Fuck. When does that end?
I don't know. We'll have to look that up.
Also-
But we need to do that.
Sorry, I'm glancing ahead at your next item. And I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
I just googled it too. I was like, what is this?
Project High Rise. So one thing I love about the Switch is like I used to play like you ever played like Papers, Please, like all these like kind of indie, really good Steam games. Game Dev Tycoon. Is it Game Dev Tycoon? Anyway, like games like that. I love those games, and the Switch is. This is why I really love the Switch. Is it's done a great job at grabbing all those indie titles and those like cheaper Steam games, and they're porting them over to the Switch. This is like a super chill. Like I haven't gamed a ton this week, and so like if I'm hanging out and I'm just like got the Switch open, I've been playing Project High Rise, and it's just it's a chill like 2D like building sim game where you kind of you build your own building, you can make an apartment building, a casino, whatever you want, and it's just like one of those like sim games. But it's one of those like sim games that just gets really addictive and really fun. You start managing and doing all the other typical like tycoon business simulation stuff to your building. But nice side game. But I just want to give credit to the Switch for having a lot of different games like that.
That's cool. Did either of you guys play Sim Tower back in the day?
I don't think so.
I did.
That shit, I'm pulling it up here. So I pulled Project High Rise, available on Steam for $19.99 if you're interested, or it's in the Mega Management Bundle for $60. Sim Tower though reminds me very much of it. And I just had the biggest flashback of it's like every single room looks the freaking same and everything of the same type, but it's just that's a throwback.
Wikipedia calls it the spiritual successor to Sim Tower.
Oh,
yeah, there's no doubt that without Sim, like this would not exist without Sim Tower. So it definitely plays to that. Obviously with its newer enhanced. The game's not new. Like it came out in like 2016 or something.
Yeah, 2016.
But constant updates, and then for the Switch they had I can't remember the name, but it was like the whatever, like the greatest edition that has like all the DLCs and all the stuff that they put in over time. So it's a lot of fun. Just a side game, but it's good.
Very cool. Okay, well, so this weekend, hopefully, well, actually, right after this, we're going to take a brief break and then stream Tom Clancy's Division 1 and do some power leveling there. This weekend, I'm thinking we'll probably get some of that. I'm blanking on the name of it. Call of Duty 4 in there. And yeah. Shoot. Oh, Planet Roller Coaster is legit. I have sunk a decent amount of hours in that one as well. Usually not so much the story mode, but in the kind of just like, here's a bunch of money, build a cool theme park type thing. Because the theming of that and everything is amazing. And we work at a technology company focused around theme parks. So I've always had a passion for theme parks. And yeah, very much.
Yeah, Planet Coaster's a fun one. Yeah. It's interesting with them because it's Frontier that develops that, which is like it's like that. Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, Jurassic World Evolution, then like Elite Dangerous, which is like not like that at all. But that's cool.
Yeah, I just gotta pull up stuff for Planet Coaster because that game deserves a shout out. This is an actual trailer. But yeah, I mean, anything in a theme park, you can do theming and restaurants and rides and customization. So similar to Roller Coaster Tycoon as far as what you can build, but it goes well above and beyond that. So great
the
game.
Mods and stuff that they have for that game too. Like, I mean, literally, you can make it look close to identical to an actual theme park. Right. So it's
crazy good. So definitely recommend that. My problem with that is when I get into those games and Jurassic World Evolution I still keep meaning to go back to that, but I also know I will sink a lot of time once I get into that. So
I want to blend these two games and then have people go off that flume ride into the raptor pit.
There's a dinosaur right there for you. He does appear to be inflatable though. So
I should fit inside him.
Okay. Well,
like a
on that note, I think that's it. You guys got any last minute items?
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for checking us out. If you are new to the channel, please check out our Discord down below and join us. You guys will get all the latest updates, what we're streaming, when we're streaming, how we're streaming, and you guys can join us in our games live. We love to have you guys come play with us, and let's be friends for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Well,
So-
thanks everybody. Until next time, stay salted.